everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Mahek Sharma and this is a special video because today, the day I'm recording this video, I have completed 2 years of working in Norway. Now you might think that 2 years is not a big deal and why am I celebrating that? So the reason is the struggle of finding this job as a HR professional was really hard for me, and if you have not seen that video on my channel about my struggle of finding a job in Norway, I'll just paste that link here. I made a detailed video on that. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but I'll surely paste the link in the description so you can see my struggle and you should know why I am so happy that I am now finally completing 2 years. I have covered some of the benefits of working in Norway on my channel already, but in this video I am going to share some tips for working professionals who are foreigners and who started working in Norway. One disclaimer here, this is truly basis my experience and I'm not saying this is the only way and these are the best things you can do. This is what I understood and experienced in the last 2 years of working here. If you have a different experience, I totally respect that, but this is what I'm sharing for my viewers basis my experience. And before I start with the tips, I just want to say that if you really like videos on my channel, do subscribe to my channel. So now without further ado, I'm just getting straight to the tips I want to share with my viewers. Tip number 1 is that learning Norwegian is doorway to inclusion. So as a foreign working professional, you get English jobs in Norway as well, and I have covered that in other videos. There are some English jobs. My current job is in English too, so I have a global role, so I don't have to categorically speak in Norwegian itself. But if you learn Norwegian, that is your way to get into the social network in your office, because any Norwegian would love to speak in their local language while interacting with you. So a lot of these social conversations which helps you make relationships at work, which is important in Norwegian. So if you don't know Norwegian, it is difficult for you to be part of those conversations. You will feel a little left out if you don't know Norwegian. So I also want to share my personal journey on this. So I'm not yet there and I am with you in this. So I have completed my course of learning Norwegian till B1. So I'm now better. I can read and understand a lot of these conversations, but my spoken Norwegian is not yet there because I left it in between because I got a job in English and we tend to get very comfortable with that. I am sharing this tip because I also feel sometimes that this is something I really have to work on, and that's why this tip made to the top of my list, because I think this is very important. If you are a part of Norwegian workforce, you should learn Norwegian. Not only socially, like okay, we have this job in English today, but it also opens a lot of job opportunities for you in future, because a lot of these jobs, especially in my career like HR professional or maybe in finance, they are very specific to the language, and it's the English jobs are very rare. So it's good if we enhance on that skill, because it will also help you as a foreigner to get more jobs, more opportunities will open for you. So definitely this is my top tip, that we have to learn Norwegian. You can take your own time and everybody has a different learning curve, but I just feel that this is something which I have realized even after 2 years, that okay, everything is in English, but still you have to learn Norwegian. Tip number 2, guys, and this I'll go back to the video which I've made about benefits of working in Norway, in which I explained that Norway is very unionized and is a very employee friendly when it comes to work benefits and work regulations. If you have not seen that video, I will also add link to that video in description so that you can see that and whatever I'm saying makes sense to you. But I think the tip number 2 for me clearly is that if you are working in Norway, there's a very unionized work environment here, so it's better. So all of us are protected under Working Environment Act, but if you become a part of a union, they safeguard your rights and benefits at your company, and they have their representatives. So somebody will represent you and will safeguard you in a lot of this. Basically, these unions are basis your industries. If you are working in IT, for example, there are certain conditions or qualifications criteria sometimes to join a union. For example, like if you have a bachelor's in IT, you have to join NITO, and to join Tekna, you need a master's in IT, any master's degree in IT. So likewise, all these unions, they have certain qualification criteria or some other criteria, but they are basically very specific to your industry, and it is very beneficial to join a union because they protect your rights. And anyways also we are protected, but then it gives you additional benefit, and they have a very nominal fee which you have to pay per year. My husband is a member of NITO, so I know that he has a very nominal fee which he has to pay every year. So I think that is another tip which I want to give. You should try to be part of a union. You can just check online that as per your industry, the industry you work in, which union is beneficial for you. You can find this information very easily online, and there is a procedure to enroll it. You can just contact them and they'll enroll you. I'm not saying that if you're part of a union, nobody can remove you from the company, or if you do something wrong, still you're protected, nothing like that. But then still you get an added layer of safeguard which is provided by the union. They will negotiate for you, and it is normally suggested that in Norway you should be part of a union. More than 40% of employees in Norway are part of one or the other union. So that is a good number to know that okay, 40% people are enrolling, there is some benefit out of it. And then you can also read specific benefits of a particular union if you go to the page. While making this video, I just went to Tecna's homepage, and they have specified very clearly what are the benefits if you're a member of Tecna. So I think you will have to do some research, but I think this is a very good tip for a working foreign professional here, because you might not know some of the regulations or law of land in the new country you started working in. And then if you are part of a union, you have a person, you have a representative you can just contact, and they'll take care of you in the company. Tip number 3, this is very simple, and I think which actually was difficult for me because I was not used to this while coming to Norway as a foreigner, and that's why I decided to add this in my tips for foreigners. So number 3 is you will have to plan for an early work day. So I think I've said this in my previous videos as well. I was not used to a very early work day in India, and I used to start late. But here, if you see, most of the Norwegians, they are very used to an early work day. So 9 to 3 is a core working hour. People are expected to be in office at that time, and people generally start very early. So I think one of the tip would be that if you're not used to it, it is better that you plan your day early. Maybe not that early, like some Norwegians sometimes even come at 7, which is not practically possible for me because I even stay very far from my office. But I think whatever is possible for you, you should try to plan your workday early, because if you come late also, if you work in a role which involves a lot of teamwork, which needs a lot of collaboration, you need to speak to people, you need to interact to people, or you're working on common goals together, then you need to interact to people. And even if you stay late, people will start leaving at 3, and this is a very common thing you will notice if you're working here and you have worked somewhere else before. So I think I suggest that you also start planning your workday early, so that you can also leave early and you have a good overlap with your colleagues, with your collaborators at work. Now we come to tip number 4, which is professionalism is a key. I think you will wonder, why is it tip? Isn't it professionalism a key anywhere, Mehek? That why is it so special that you are referring it as a tip for working professionals in Norway, or a foreign working professional in Norway? So yes, I do agree, professionalism is a key anywhere in the world where you work. But from my 2 years experience, what I wanted to highlight in this tip basically was that Norway has a very flat hierarchy. So if you're used to a very formal and hierarchical organization, you will find it different. So which also means that you will work very independently in Norway as compared to in any other countries, because they say that managers are guides rather than your bosses. So you have to work and plan and organize everything very independently, which can be different from where you come from or what you have done before this. Because even if I have seen in my 2 years experience that there's not a lot of training, people who are hired for a certain job, they are expected to know a lot of things, so that there's no hand holding, if I can say that. So it gives you a lot of empowerment, so that's a benefit of that. But then it also comes with a lot of responsibility and ownership. So I just thought of adding this as a tip, that if you are a foreigner who's going to come to Norway and has not worked in such environment before this is good to be aware, so that you are aware and you're prepared for to do things independently. So now we come to the last tip of this video, which is that direct communication is preferred in Norway. So I would say that Norway work culture is all about trust, fairness, and collaboration, which also means that there is a lot of trust. And how do you achieve that trust is because Norwegians do believe in honesty and clarity in communication. They prefer that you are very honest in any situation, even if the message is not positive. If it is delivered with respect and a lot of clarity, they will understand you. I can give you an example. Maybe if you are not able to meet your deadlines, they would prefer a direct communication rather than you not giving them clarity about it. So I think which also relieves you from a lot of stress. So I think this is a very good thing which you can practice in Norway, because they will really appreciate your honesty. That's what I have experienced in my journey so far, that you have to be very direct in your communication. So I think that is something which can be or may not be a change from your previous work environment. But if it is, then I would say that here, if you're working, then you should prefer to have a direct communication with your bosses, and they will appreciate your honesty, and that will also help you build that trust, because Norwegians believe in trust-based organization, and that's not limited to work, that's in everything they do. It's a very trust-based society, so that's why it comes to work as well. So that's why I wanted to just highlight as my last tip. I only worked for last 2 years, so these were the tips basis my experience in last 2 years. I would love to know from you if you agree or you disagree to some of my tips, or you had a very different experience in Norway. I would love to see that. So do write in comments what you feel. If you are a foreigner working in Norway and you had a different experience, or you want to add something to this experience, do write a comment. I always read all my comments and respond to you guys, so please do that. And then I just want to say that I am trying to make some work related content as well on my channel, apart from the other content which I have related to travel and others information related to Norway. So if you like work related content on my channel, do subscribe to my channel, and do tell me if there's any specific topic which you feel I should make a video on, which can be helpful to you. If I don't have knowledge on that particular subject, I will probably try to do some research and get back to you, but I'll try to make a video on that. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.